Well, hello everyone. I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven, and we are once again backstage at the Metals Investor Forum. And I have a new person to query today. This is Stephen Keith of Labrador Uranium. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me. It's a great conference. So thank you.
I'm glad you're enjoying. If you haven't heard of Labrador Uranium, that's because it's absolutely brand new. You've been trading for a week as of today.
It's our 1 week anniversary.
Oh. Yeah. Why don't we start with how Labrador Uranium came to be? Sure, it got spun out of Consolidated, but what's the concept? What's the genesis? Why did the people who are behind this, decide that this was the time and the opportunity to do what you're doing?
It's a great question. Thank you. Look, I actually wish people asked that more about early companies. Look, we built this. The concept sort of started generating sort of in the summer, June, July of last year. The guys at Consolidated Uranium, so Phil Williams specifically, was looking at how they were building Consolidated and what it wanted to be, and they were getting more and more advanced projects. Mm-hmm. But there was this project here that sat there. It was too small yet to do anything with, but it had a historical resource on it. There's a lot of work to be done that they didn't want to leave alone. There was a lot of value in the ground, but they couldn't spend the money. They couldn't dedicate the time. So the question is, how do I make, and this Phil asking the question, how do I make money for my investors with this thing that I bought? But while not ignoring all these other things. And the answer was, well, we had a meeting, and Richard Patricio from Mega Uranium was there as well. And the answer was, let's drop it out of Consolidated. Let's then grow it into something. So Consolidated Uranium brought this project, which is called the Moran Lake asset. Mega Uranium is going to bring their Mustang Lake project. Mm-hmm. And then we were close to the guys at Altius Minerals, and between the last uranium cycle and today, they went and consolidated this entire basin. And what they always want to do, what their model tends to be, is to put it in good hands, because they're a royalty company. So they want people to spend the money and do the right work. So what we did is a 3-part deal. All 3 companies gave us these assets. We put it together in this unbelievable land package, and with a view that a pure explorer spending money is going to find something very exciting here. So that was the concept. And then we went to, how do we want to build it? So first, the assets were that, to me, it's always about people, right? This is an industry fraught with all sorts of people issues. There's some of the most brilliant people I've met are in the resource industry, and sometimes our management or governance isn't all that great. Mm-hmm. And as someone who tries to look at things from an investor point of view, we wanted to make sure that we had that focus. So we built fully like a board. Like, I'm not on the board. We made sure that I'm the CEO. I'm at all the meetings anyway. Sure. I present the strategy anyways. Mm-hmm. So we started with Phil Williams. He's executive chairman. The reason Phil is, first and foremost, the assets came out of Consolidated. He was spun the shares out to his shareholders, but they own 1/3 of the company. So he wants to protect that. So he came on as executive chairman, which is great because he's done a great job building value for his shareholders. Mm-hmm. Richard joined the board. Again, very good strategic mind, understands the financial markets well, but frankly, he's been in uranium a really long time and knows the space. And then we brought Justin Reed into the fold, which gives us, again, another known company builder, a guy who's done stuff for his investors. Importantly, he's also worked in this basin. He worked on a past deal that sold a 120 million pound uranium deposit in this area. So that was the idea. Like, okay, we need to get value, and how do we protect the shareholders of Consolidated, which is what Phil spun out. Let's now grow this and turn this into a better story, and let's put the right team and governance around it. And now with that team, we've got a great strategy and plan, and now we grow from there.
Now it's time to go. Okay, and then the time to go. It's time in the uranium space. Yeah. So that's another sort of conversation, but uranium is obviously doing well right now. I'm very bullish on uranium. I think there's, despite new entrants into the game, there's still a lack of good uranium equities. So, as interest turns to the space, it's good to have new players there who have real people with experience and all that. Let's run quickly through this huge land package that you have. You sort of have 2 things that you're trying to do with this massive land package.
Yeah. Okay, so, and I do like the tailwinds of the uranium, but look, the land package, it's sort of a 2-piece strategy, as you're referring. So first, we put together this asset base that was mostly the work that Altius had done by putting this package together. And that started off as 125,000 hectares. Yes, it's a lot. It's now 139,000 hectares.
Just a little more.
Yeah. But what's exciting is massive package. It controls a known mineralized belt, and that's had historical work done on it for over 50 years.
Right.
So all that data is in there too. So we consolidate that all. So opportunity one is let's flush out the best targets there. In the first pass of looking at all that historical data, Altius and ourselves came up with over 140 targets. Exciting, because there's lots of stuff. There's tons of uranium, there's lots of copper, all sorts of great things in here. But a lot of that work outside of the last uranium boom wasn't really getting down to resource development. So there's a lot that's been done at the surface, but what's there? And we have this opportunity to go, and it sounds promotional, so I apologize, but to go elephant hunting, because the guys that are in there looking for projects now, like when they started putting this together, they were looking for large IOCG targets, right? And we're looking for big things. But then we've got part two, which is in truth what anchors any value in this company, is we actually start with a historical uranium resource. So logically, what we can do is you start with a historical resource, you try to grow it. That's been done in this basin before. We saw guys grow a 30 million pound resource to 120 million pounds. We're hoping to do the same thing. So in and around our Moran Lake project, there's multiple other targets that we hope to grow it. Questions we ask, is it a single large deposit? Is it multiple smaller deposits? As long as it stays near surface, I'm going to be happy either way. And then we hunt for these massive other targets within this entire basin. And that's the plan. So we've got multiple ways to deliver value.
And in a, uranium market with a tailwind, as we'll describe it, both of those, or either of those, however you want to phrase it, should work well. So whether you're growing a resource from small to large, that's sort of an obvious way to grow value in the market, or whether you deliver discovery. And like I say, there's new entrants, there's cropping up in the uranium space, there's projects that haven't seen attention for a while, so there will be discoveries, but it's not a crowded field. There's not a lot of people out there yet exploring for uranium. So if you can deliver discoveries from an underexplored belt into a rising uranium market, that will grab attention.
Look, absolutely. Like, first and foremost, you've got this market that I think has stronger legs than ever before. And the thesis is uranium, it's energy. And frankly, it's clean energy. And this is an area that has a large deposit in it. And what's interesting is, compared to what we see in other parts of Canada, like Saskatchewan, these seem lower grade. But there are multiple operating mines in Namibia and Kazakhstan that have similar or lower grades to what we have. So these can be economic, they can be good, but the energy theory works because the added bonus of this lovely district we have is it's not just copper. I mean, it's not just uranium. There we go. It's not just uranium. There's a lot of copper, on top of which our first resource, that historical resource, actually has vanadium in it as well. We believe we're going to find many other products, or hope to, all still fitting within that energy theme, right? Like, because copper is needed for the batteries, vanadium is the same thing. Like, there's all sorts of juice here, and we're pretty happy with the timing.
So now you just have to get it all done. Take 140 targets, distill it down to a few that you can actually drill, do massive AI programs to do that, also grow the resource at Moran Lake, just a few tasks on the table. Yeah, but look, it's an iterative process and you do it intelligently. So we've got a great geological team, big piece of it built around people who know what to do with big data and machine learning. And so in so doing, and using proper geology, because again, that is all about how you can, any AI or machine learning is only as good as how you feed it the data and how you teach the machine. And in our team, we have people who have done that before and won awards for it before. So we're like, that is incredibly exciting, because we have to take this from big arm waving concept down to something real. And we have to, in the end, to deliver value to shareholders, you need to find things. Yeah. Well, good luck out there. I look forward to keeping up with the story as the year progresses.